Didn't know if you guys heard, but Bungie's making Beyond Light free with Shadowkeep, starting in Final Shape. Obviously, Beyond Light, Shadowkeep, and Witch Queen are free temporarily for right now, but I just was told that Shadowkeep Beyond Light is going to be free permanently going into year 7. And with Beyond Light being free, they also said that Stasis will be free to all players, which is very cool because obviously players had access to all the light subclasses, and now they're going to get for now, I should say, the first out of 3, hopefully, darkness subclasses. Again, we don't know if the third darkness subclass is going to come anytime soon. I'm hoping it's going to come out later on next year or so. But with Prismatic, a lot of people have been excited for the combos that people are going to make with both light and dark, and I'm very excited to see what I can pull off with both Strand, Stasis, Solar Void Arc, anything really. But I gotta admit, guys, Stasis has been kind of very bad on its own, and I don't know if it's me using it that's actually pretty bad at the game. You know, I'm pretty crap at the game, guys. You know that. But I think that the subclass itself has been very lackluster in some areas, and I know Bungie's been talking about this new Frost Armor thing that they're doing, but they haven't really released any changes. Hopefully, like in the next couple twids, they'll release some stuff about it when it comes into the final shape. But I'm not really thinking it's going to be, or I'm not confident it's going to be something that's going to evolutionary change Stasis. Obviously, they don't want to make it as potent as it used to be back in year 4 where it broke the game. However, with Prismatic, it's going to basically break the game even further with how much shit it's going to be in the game. So I kind of want Stasis to get some love in the process. I don't know if the combos with how Prismatic is going to operate with all the subclasses is going to make Stasis better on its own with using, maybe stuff like with Solar and Void, I don't know. But overall, I wasn't really, intrigued by, when I was using it. I know some moments I was kind of like, wow, this thing is actually pretty good in PvE. PvP, I was just shit with it the constant whole way through, and I was like, man, this sucks. But I feel like Bungie should, change it up a little bit. I don't know. I want to know you guys' thoughts on this because it's definitely like one of those subclasses where it's like a hate and love relationship. Like I've never been always myself like happy with the subclass since when I found out it actually froze your movement and actually froze like your screen basically, so you wouldn't be able to play for give or take a couple seconds. It's just not something that I really like. Because again, it makes it so I can't move or anything. It's kind of nice to do it against enemies, but when you're scorn enemies and fucking Vow or Warlord's Ruin is using Stasis against you, yeah, that gets very irritating and very annoying. Even if you're doing an endgame activity like a Grandmaster or GM, it gets really annoying, and that's why I've never been the best of fans when it came to it. When us Guardians only had it, yeah, it was pretty cool. I think it was a very interesting concept. And then I believe it or not, people said that Strand was going to be only for the Guardians. Like, we were only going to get it, right? And no one else was going to be able to use it. But then I saw, like, Strand Shields, and now I think the whole Dread or Subjugators are getting, like, Strand Shields as well and Strand abilities. So it kind of, like, contradicts that whole statement they made about Strand when it first came out. I don't know. With Darkness subclass is very iffy subject because I always thought with Darkness subclasses we would be overall, again, really strong, but there would be a consequence in the background that's like, how Tommy's MacBook is always getting rid of your health when you're using it, and you're always, like, getting burned, but you're doing more damage. I always thought something like that when it came to Darkness subclasses, but they didn't really go into that, I don't think, and with that, it kind of felt like, ooh, alright, it's just there, and it's a nice subclass and all when it comes to the basic concepts of, like, freezing and all this other stuff, but that's it, right? There's nothing huge and fascinating at how the subclass compares to the other Arc and Light, because when I was using it, I kind of felt like, okay, I have ice powers, that's it, right? That's all I got, and I didn't really like how it was just developed at the time, even though it was at the time, at Beyond Light, it was a Destiny 3 kind of like back Destiny 3 change in my opinion. Like Darkness subclasses, like that's such a Destiny 3 thing back in the day that I thought it was going to happen. I don't even know if Destiny 3 is going to happen anymore, or if it is. Let me know your thoughts about that. But still, it's very interesting, and I just want to know why it's just not as potent. I've seen some of the aspects, I looked at some of the stuff, and I even used one of the new exotic armor pieces that gives me the lance thing, the helmet or whatever for the Titan. It's pretty cool. I got more lances than I usually do, but it wasn't like, holy crap, this wasn't like broken as the solar exotic helmet from Witch Queen. And it always comes back to the point, why would I use Stasis when I could use Solar, which is way more potent than anything in the game? And then that's the same argument for Arc. You know, Arc is, in my opinion, the worst subclass to mankind for Titans, because I hate it so much. If you ever see me, we should do a video on this. If you ever see me use Arc, you're going to just see me constantly die, but pull off some really good damage numbers. That's how I just despise it, because of how bad survivability is. Again, I'm pretty bad at the game. But even then, I just feel like what's the point of using the subclass if other subclasses are going to be more potent than it? Obviously, that's the point of a live service game. The meta is always changing, but I don't feel like it's getting love in the last couple of months/years or whatever, and it's just stagnant. And that's what I don't like. That's when I hate, when something is so stagnant that I actually want a change to happen. And again, I just don't think the Frost Armor is going to really change too much. They did signify that it's going to be a huge new buff or something that's going to really help survivability, but I don't know if that's anything else. Like, I'm looking at notes right now, and all I see is that they're going to help with maybe some other things with casting, I think, some abilities when running Stasis. I don't know. It's very weird. Again, the grenades, they're not the best. I gotta admit, guys, the grenades kind of are iffy. Glacier has been kind of falling off, in my opinion. The Cold Snap's kind of it was a go-to for a while, but then the Storm one, the other Dust Storm one, was kind of the one I kind of landed with, because it's something I like. But the grenades aren't as hyped as I thought it would be. And then it gets back to the other statement with how the grenades from Prismatic are going to look so good, and they're going to be so amazing. So that power creep problem is definitely one of the reasons why I'm making the video, because it really comes down to how the subclass, again, is going to work with the other subclasses once Prismatic comes out. Obviously, once Prismatic comes out, it's going to break the game, I just said. But, again, the power creep problem. What about all the other singular subclasses? What's going to happen then? The whole usage of Prismatic is just going to go throughout the roof, and you're going to need Prismatic and LFGs. I don't know. Again, it's definitely an interesting subclass, if you will. I love the idea of it, but it really comes down to okay, how are you going to deliver on this, and how are you going to keep everything else a little bit more balanced in a way so it doesn't break the game? Obviously, there is some limitations to how it will work, and there's limitations to the exotic armor that's also going to break the game. But I just wanted to make a quick video on Stasis, because, at the end of the day, it's a very interesting subclass. It was the thing that really got us going with Darkness subclasses, really got us going with how subclasses were going to work on when they develop new subclasses, and who knows what they're going to do after Light and Dark Saga, if they're going to make more or make different types. I don't know. But if we are going to get a third Darkness subclass one day, again, we gotta have some good areas to experiment, and still at least be able to have a good amount of people using the subclass when it comes to, that time. I just feel like Stasis, get some love. We need to get it back and going, and again, make the mechanics more, and end-game activities more I don't know how to say it, smooth for the subclass. I don't know how to describe it, but every mechanic is always all right, gotta run Thundercrash because the boss is in the fucking air. Stasis ain't gonna do shit. I don't know if I kind of like bosses that roam around, and I kind of want the damage of the subclass to actually be more potent. Can we get a damage buff, seriously, on Behemoth? I don't know. It's bad. I don't like roaming supers. And also add new ones. Add new supers. We've been using the same goddamn thing with Strand as well. It's kind of getting tired at this point. I think, it's great to add new light supers, but as soon as, Final Shape's over, we need some new Darkness supers, because that's something I think both Strand and Stasis desperately need. Alright, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.